Svetlana, the firefly in the room.
Hello houseplant friends and welcome back to my channel. Today is the day that you've been waiting for. I mean, maybe half of my subscribers have been asking for this particular video, and here we are. Here are most of the plants you have seen on my channel since day one, so prepare for many different stories, because today I will talk about all of the plants I ever rescued. And I mean, some of these plants are so lucky, so happy, they're still growing and just doing their thing, and some of these plants are no longer with us. So this is just another thing about rescuing houseplants. You never know when the rescue will be successful, because you never know what is wrong with the plant and why it ended up being thrown away, for example. If you won't see a plant that you probably have seen some time before, that's because it's dead. or I have a couple plants that I gifted to my mom, to my sister, to my grandma. So for example, do you remember the huge hibiscus rose I found last winter? I think yes. Last winter I found a huge hibiscus rose and I gifted it to my grandma because she really wanted one, and right now it's touching the ceiling. It's completely happy, completely fine. It's actually non-stop blooming for my grandma. So what a happy rescue story, am I right? And I found it when it was about a meter tall, right? Right now it's double the size, double the blooms. It's happy, it's really happy. And some of the plants, for example, the first ever plant I rescued, Echinopsis cactus, is no longer with us. Unfortunately, it's a sad story, it's a rough story, guys. I was crying on my channel maybe half of the year ago when I noticed that it was dying. But this is flipping life. Am I right? Disclaimer. On this video, I won't include the plants that I rescued from the stores, the discount sections, because I have a bunch of these as well. I won't include the plants that you rescued and then send them to me to rescue them after your rescues. I have some of them as well, and they won't be included. These are the plants that I found outside my home and outside any store. All of these plants were found next to the garbage containers, just in my neighborhood around, the weirdest spots, like in the forest, for example. Would you think that you can find a plant in the woods? Well, I did. I mean, the house plant, not a simple plant, And I live in Lithuania, so please don't think that I just steal these plants from somebody's gardens, because all of these plants wouldn't survive in Lithuanian winters, so no, it's impossible to find such plants in the gardens in here. So, I mean, if you don't believe me, go to this link. I will link my most recent rescue and you will see how I find them. But right now, let's go and see some beautiful plants, right? As you can tell, some of them are not that small. I mean, most of them are not small, which is ridiculous because most of my small rescues are dead. And the large ones, the big ones, you know, probably were the toughest ones. And they're like, I'm staying. Okay. This is actually one of my newest rescues. I found it while I was walking with my sister and my dog. I found it, I think, maybe a couple months ago. And I give it a nice haircut, and all of the leaves that I cut off I gave to my grandma because she loves jungle cacti. This is, I think, Easter cactus, and as you can tell, it's really happy. It's a little bit thirsty, but I tend to kill Easter and Christmas cacti, so I don't hurry, you know, to water it. And it seems like probably right now would be a perfect time because the pot is pretty light. Anyway, so I rescued it. It was next to the garbage container. I have a full story with full video. If you want to hear the full story, I will leave a link under this video in my description box below. You can go and see the whole playlist filled with rescue stories, and you will find a video about it as well. Anyway, okay, so this is Opuntia I rescued about 3 years ago, I think. It's growing right now, which is exciting. So I'll put it back. You saw it, right? So this is an Opuntia plant that I rescued from Cyprus on my vacations. It was about 3 years ago, I think, maybe 4 years ago, I don't even know. So when I was there, I just was overwhelmed with all of the plants. There was like, I don't even know, like 50 meters tall ficuses, liratas all over the place, huge cacti all around, and I was like, you know, like, wow. It was insane, I'm not going to lie. I just wanted to go and grab all of the babies, you know, from all around. But when I arrived to the airport of the Cyprus, there were a lot of security guards with huge AK-40 probably or something, you know, huge guns, and I was like, nope, I'm not taking anything from anywhere. You know, I don't want any problems. They had huge guns, and you know, I would need to go back to Lithuania with a plane, so I would need to go back to the same airport, so I was not taking the risk. But this particular Opuntia was actually laying on the sidewalk, and it was one ear this size. So actually there were so many of these Opuntias growing in others chest gardens, you know, and some of the houses were abandoned, so there were nobody living anymore, and they were just out of control, you know. They were just like huge bushes all over the place, and in one spot, in one street, there was one abandoned house with huge Opuntia like this one, and the leaves of this Opuntia were just, you know, bending out of the fence, and whenever you would walk or drive a bicycle, for example, you would just knock off some of the leaves, and that's probably what happened to one of these. So one of there was just laying on the concrete sidewalk, and I was like, if that's not a sign to grab it, then I don't know what would be. So I grabbed one ear that was laying on the ground, took it home, and here we are. There were no problems with security guards. Thank God. But yes, this is huge right now, and I'm extremely happy. Let's go to another one. This one is smallest rescue so far. This one is actually, this is pretty recent. I found it a couple months ago as well. And this one was under the bush. I know. Weirdest things happens here, I know, but this was like 3 times bigger, but most of the leaves, since it's really cold in here, were damaged by the cold, just like this one, for example, right? So I took them all apart from this plant, and for now this one seems pretty happy. As you can tell, the middle is a little bit lighter, so it shows that it's growing finally, because I cut off all of the roots because it was filled with bugs. And voila, it seems pretty happy, pretty healthy, and I cannot wait for whole rosette shaped plant, you know, to go back to life and fill the pot. Lovely, I know. Anyway, next let's talk about my Euphorbia. This is my Euphorbia leuconera. I actually rescued it maybe 2 years ago. And it was also during the winter. It was completely ridiculous story. It's actually one of my first ever plant rescues, and I found it on the middle just of the field next to the apartment building, so I'm pretty sure somebody just threw it out the window. There were actually 3 plants like this, but I managed to rescue only 2. But once again, full story in my videos, you can go and check it out. And in advance, I'm really sorry about some of the older videos, because for example, I myself cannot watch my older videos because I just can't stop cringing on my accent. So if this is really difficult for you, I'm really sorry. But yeah, this is another awesome rescue. It's blooming for me right now, which is really awesome. And this is a plant that blooms non-stop. It doesn't matter is it winter or the summer. Whenever it gets a little bit more light, bam, blooming. Maybe let's fill in a little bit bigger plants in here, right? Okay, let's talk about this aloe. Bam. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is an aloe that I rescued about 3 months ago, I think last autumn, to be honest. So I was walking my dog with my mom, and at the same day, that particular day, we rescued 3 plants. So I found this aloe, my mom found a couple branches of tradescantia just on the sidewalk, and I don't remember what was the 3rd plant, to be honest. But this was this made me just whoa, you know? Because when we were walking, it was actually on top of the garbage container, on the lid, you know, it was striking as it is right now. And when I saw it, I just couldn't believe it. I saw it from the other side of the road with my mom, and I was like, Mom, is that a huge aloe? She was like, oh, heck it is. So we ran to this other side of the road, and obviously I rescued it. It was insanely heavy as it is right now. It actually was a cutting without any roots, so I popped it in the soil, and right now it's finally giving me new growth. Some of the edges are a little bit dry, but that's happened because I put it in the pot with soil, but then I forgot to water it. Like a month. But it's alive. It's alive. It looks like, you know, like the octopus, right? All of this, you know, legs like looking like awesome. And I know that I could cut these brown parts off, but I just love the way it looks. You know, it looks wild, it looks extreme, and that's what I love about it. It actually is standing on top of my wardrobe, on my closet, so it doesn't get a lot of sun, but still it's fighting, it's growing, and as you can tell by the middle, lot of new growth happening during the winter, so I'm flipping in love. I still cannot believe I found this plant. It was extreme, it was insane, and I am flipping in love. Once again, want to see full story, you will find it in my rescued plants playlist. Bam, just look at it, what a showstopper, am I right? Oh, love it. Okay, let's go to another one. This one is actually also Euphorbia. This is Euphorbia trigona, and as you can tell, finally it's showing me new growth. I actually rescued it this summer, I think. Maybe last summer. I don't even know. But it was summer. And what I found was maybe 2 or 3 long branches that were about 2 meters long, and no soil, no anything, just simple cuttings, you know, next to the garbage containers. And I obviously grabbed it, bring it home, and cut it in, I think in half, and put them all in this soil. And they were standing in the spot for at least a year and did nothing at all. I thought maybe they were dying, but you know, they were all juicy, so they were not dying. No rotting, no drying off. They were just standing, probably just growing the roots, you know. And finally this winter they started to grow, and the new growth is so much more plump, so it shows that it's finally so much happier. And I mean, I feel blessed to find this plant, because actually this is a Euphorbia that my grandma is growing as well, and whenever I look at this plant it just reminds me of my grandma. I love it. As you can tell, just as we speak, new growth is happening. Just look at it. Bam. You see all of those new branches coming off? Oh my gosh, how cute, how happy that makes me. Actually, I have 3 trees that I rescued. One is over here, one is over here, and one is over there. So probably the largest rescues let's leave for the end. So because I will need to probably stand up and go show you with the camera on my hands because it's impossible to pick them up. I mean, even right now you cannot see the Dorsina because it's touching the ceiling. So that would be a little bit struggling. Anyway, I actually saved a bunch of Sansevierias. One of the first Sansevieria I ever rescued was this gorgeous baby. So I'll try to make the story short. So I was walking my dog and I found enormous Sansevieria. It was like a huge barrel sized, pot filled with like 2 meters long Sansevieria. It was like a flippin' trunk, it just was huge, enormous. And I was walking my German Shepherd and he's a big dog. So I thought there is no way I will bring this dog back home and this plant at the same time. It's impossible. So I was pretty far away from my home, and in back of my mind I just felt that after I will go back to home, leave Rock and go back to take the plant, it might be no longer be in this spot. And I was right. What's awesome that before going back home, just something in back of my mind told me just grab one leaf just in case if somebody will take it, you will still have at least one leaf to rescue, and that's what I did. And in this spot, as you can tell, there was one huge 2 meters long leaf and I cut it in pieces, I think maybe 8 or so, and put them all directly in the soil. And just look at this full plant right now. I'm so proud. Just look at all of those. I mean, the old leaves are still standing here, right? But I just love how much new growth is happening right now. You can see the older one is a little bit more green, the new one a little bit more gray, and it's a really beautiful plant. And actually, when I went back to look for this plant, it was no longer there. Somebody took it and rescued it, which is extremely awesome. But at the same time, I'm happy that I managed to grab at least one leaf and have this beautiful story, And since we're talking about Sansevierias, let's talk about another one. Bam! So this is another pretty similar. I think it might be even the same Sansevieria as I showed you before. This one is a little bit different. Actually, I rescued one leaf. This particular leaf, it was actually in our hallway, I think it's called, in our apartment building where the staircase is. So in the staircase or the hallway, anyway, doesn't matter, we had a huge Sansevieria, and somebody probably while walking past, maybe, I don't even know how the heck this happened, but one leaf was just broke off and just laying on the side of the pot like this. And it was there for at least 2 days, and I just couldn't help myself, and I just couldn't watch it struggle. So one day I just came and snapped, one leaf, and here we have it. So I put it in the water and forget about it, and I think maybe after 4 or 5 months it started to grow new growth. So if you want to propagate Sansevierias, just keep in mind that they are such a slow growers. I mean, this rescue to get this far took maybe 3 years. But it's so rewarding, guys. It's so rewarding and so worth it. So just be patient. I am not patient and I know how difficult that might be. But it's so worth it, guys. It's really worth it. So the same happened with this one. It was really slow grower, but right now, finally, it has a root system and leaves are coming one by one. This is actually the newest one. This was the first one and it came so thin, so small. Then came this one, which is so much bigger, and I really hope this one will be even more bigger. And I mean, this is the same plant, right? But they look so different, right? This one is so compact. That one is like a tiny bush. So that's what I love about Sansevierias. You can play with them and make them so different, just like that. So let's talk about orchids. I actually last year found 2 orchids thrown away next to the garbage containers, and these orchids were left actually there were 3, and all of them were left in simple grocery bags, so somebody did not want to throw them away, obviously, so they left them next to the garbage container, and I grabbed them while walking my dog. And this is one of those orchids. It's crazy, I know. Actually, I was a little bit over it this winter. I was a little bit mad at it. I don't know why. Don't ask it. I don't know. But I put it on my wardrobe and it did not receive a lot of sun, so I lost maybe 4 leaves on this plant. This one isn't happy as well, I know. This is Rocky's fault. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so it still has leaves. I am pretty sure soon it will grow new ones, but what's the most awesome thing about it? It's growing a baby, guys. How exciting is that? Just look at those crazy roots. This is one of the craziest plants, I think. The most awesome part when I rescued it, it had no blooms, and during the year that I had it, it already bloomed for me 2 times. This is actually the most recent spike. I need to cut it probably off because it's dry. But yes, I'm happy for a new chapter of this plant because there is a baby. There is a baby, guys. It's pregnant. She's pregnant. You might ask what happened to the rest orchids, the 2 that were in the back as well. Well, one was already dead when I took it, so I dumped it in the dumpster because there was no chance for it. It was completely dry and rotten. And another one was actually surviving, but she was not thriving, I actually don't even remember where I put it. I think I might give it to my mom. Okay, let's fill in another huge plant. Another Sansevieria, another pretty similar Sansevieria. This is the one that was such a weird story, guys. It was such a weird story. I was actually scrolling down the Facebook, I think, or something similar to your Craigslist page, I was just scrolling down the plant section and I noticed pictures of huge Sansevieria and some, not this one, this is just a baby of that Sansevieria, so you can imagine how huge that Sansevieria were. And I was like, oh my gosh, and they were giving off these plants for free because the office was closing down and people would, go to another office building to work, so they had no possibilities to bring the plants together with them, which is extremely sad. But anyway, so lady was giving plants away, and what I noticed while going through the pictures, it was my mom's office. Guys, it was my mom's co-worker from the same building but just another level, and she was just giving these plants away because she could not take them with herself. And I called my mom immediately and I was like, Mom, is somebody giving plants away in your office? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, Mom, what the hell? Why you did not tell me? I needed to know that. Please give me at least one baby of that huge Sansevieria. It's insane. I mean, guys, this is 2 cuttings, 2 babies, right? And isn't that huge? That's what she said. Let me put it back. Let's go to another pretty weird rescue. This is another Sansevieria. This is bird nest Sansevieria. This is so much smaller. It's a little bit distant, Please ignore this fact, okay? But this is actually Sansevieria from the plant swap. There was a plant swap happening. We were exchanging plants, having lots of fun, all of the plant lovers together. And then there was a section of plants that people are just leaving if they don't want it anymore. Maybe people came with plants but did not find anything to change for, so they just left the plants and went home, because they did not want to bring them back. And this was one of those plants. I think one lady just left it because she came, but no one wanted to change plants with her because it's a pretty similar Sansevieria, so she just left it there and went back home. And I was like, I'm grabbing you. Because actually this is my first ever bird nest Sansevieria, so I thought, why the heck not? It's always fun to have as many different Sansevierias as possible, and especially when I have so many rescued Sansevierias, why not to add another one rescued from the plant swap, which is completely different. As you can tell, it had so much bigger leaves, and in my care they are so much smaller, but that's because it's standing really down on my shelf, so probably this spring I should put it out on my balcony where the sun is coming off so much stronger, to give it some more life. But yes, this is another Sansevieria rescue. I know. So guys, this is all of my small rescues, right? I have big ones, we'll go to them in a minute, but before that, let's have some honorable mentions because there were so many more plants in this home that I tried to rescue and I did not succeed at. I'll go a little bit further and let's talk about my honorable mentions. At least couple Scheffleras that I rescued, at least the huge beautiful bromeliad that actually was not as successful. Let's talk about Dracaena that I managed to kill after reviving it of huge Spider-Man attack. Excuse me, it should be pretty serious. Spider might, not man, attack. I'm so sorry, this is so hilarious. Other beautiful mentions on this channel because I had so many plans. Let's not talk about settings, let's talk positive notes because right now we will go to the huge rescues I own. Do you see there's a plant actually over here? So let's talk about my three huge plants, my prides and joys of my rescue. So let me show you my largest plants. Let's do it. Okay, so I get that this is pretty weird angle, but this is my huge money plant that I rescued. I actually, when I found it, it was... Oh, Rocky, oh, pretty sleepy. Oh, you're a good dog. You're a good dog. Smile. Cute. This is huge money plant. As you can see, the trunk is really woody and it's a really big plant. When I got it, as you can tell, this is the parts where I cut it, but when I got it, it was 2 meters long, the least, you know, and it was the completely funny story. If you want to see it, I will leave a link probably over here. You can go and watch how the heck I found it and bring it home and what I did with it. Actually, just recently I cut off all of the branches because they started to be pretty leggy, and as you can tell, finally new branches are coming up, and this is so fun. This is so rewarding to see, you know, new growth happening in here, and as you can tell, in here on this branch we have another... Okay, you can't probably... Bam, you can. Another growth. So once again, this will be another beautiful and bushy tree, maybe in couple months, but I think this spring and summer will do the thing for it. But yeah, this is my pride and joy. I mean, just look at those, all of this growth, so cute. Okay, another one I showed you not that long ago. Here are the branches of that rescue, and as you can tell, leaves are starting to fall off, right? But I'm talking about this huge Benjamin ficus. Oh my gosh, right? Right, guys? So I just rescued it last week, and I have a full video about it with full story. I actually even filmed how and where I found it and how I was carrying it home. So if you want to see the full story, I will leave a link over here once again, so you can go and check it out. But yes, I know, this is pretty insane. And last but not least, please ignore the setup. This is where I'm sitting with all of my rescue babies. But this is my another huge plant rescue. Bam! It still kept going. So this is Dracaena marginata that I rescued about half of the year ago. This is a completely new branch that grew in my care. These three were already there, but as you can tell, this is the point where I found it, and that's all happening in my care, and I love it so much. Lots of you actually told me to cut it, and I think that maybe this spring I might experiment and cut it in pieces. But yes, this is another rescue, guys, and just look at that. This room is just filled with rescued plants and it looks amazing. I know. I mean, just if you would look at this spot, bam, rescued, bam, rescued, bam, rescued, this one rescued. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so proud. Yes. Lots and lots of rescues. Okay guys, this is all I have to show you today. These are all of my rescued plants. I hope you enjoyed this pretty long video. I think I really tried to make it as short as possible. But just like I said, every plant is filled with memories, with, you know, beautiful stories, and it's so difficult not to share them every single time. And since we finished with that, it's time for you to remind to subscribe to my channel if you love rescue stories, because trust me, right now spring is coming to Lithuania and people will throw away many more plants. That's what I noticed, that most of the people are starting to get rid of plants just right now as we speak. So this should be fun. The season of rescues are coming to my channel, so stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see more, hear more stories, see more funny footages of me struggling carrying huge pots like these home. And I will see you very soon. But before that, let's have another language lesson. So today I will teach you in only two languages, in Russian and Lithuanian, how to say to rescue plants, because I think this is the vibe that we should stay with, right? So in Russian, to say rescue plants is спасать растения. I know it doesn't sound easy. Once again, спасать растения. It means to rescue plants, or house plants in particular, right? If you want to say the same phrase in Lithuanian, then you should say gelbėti augalus. So once again, in Lithuanian we say gelbėti augalus. So for example, full sentence would be like this one, right? I love to rescue houseplants. Yeah? Let's do it in Russian. Я люблю спасать домашние растения. That would be in Russian. If you want to say the same phrase in Lithuanian, aš mėgstu gelbėti kambarinius augalus. Easy, right? I mean, you probably don't want to learn the whole sentence, but the phrase gelbėti augalus and спасать растения is the one that I wanted to share with you today. But anyway guys, right now sun is shining, it's really freezing cold outside, but sun is out, so it means more adventures. So stay tuned and I will see you very soon guys. Don't forget to comment which one rescue is your favorite. Do you feel sad because you don't see any of the rescues that you have seen before on my channel? If you do, let's talk about it and I will explain what happened to it. Please like this video and I will see you very soon guys. Bye!